Wait, they were like, what?
And I was like, boss, please. Hey bosses, welcome back to another Boss Confidential. I'm Jillian with Megan.
Hey guys.
So Megan and I were chatting and we don't know this story about each other. So I think it would be fun to share, not only with us here in this room, but with you guys. I want to talk about heartbreak. Do you remember your first heartbreak?
I feel like they've all ended in heartbreak.
Like the first one that really just like broke you.
I feel like that it was my first boyfriend, but I feel like just one break is hard to define. It was very much like on again, off again, like on again, off again. But I remember vividly, he was my first boyfriend. His name was, I'll say his name. It's fine. We're fine now. We don't really talk. I think he's going to be a daddy soon, but his name is Juan Rivera. Mm-hmm. And he was like on the varsity baseball team.
So you were in high school?
We were in high school. Yeah. I was a junior. We were in the same age. And we just were friends. And then we were hanging out all the time. And then I think we both started to fall for each other at the same time. And then I remember like one day he just asked me out and I was like, okay, yeah. And then like I had never had a boyfriend before. So I kind of forgot what went along with it. So I remember he was leaving and I walked him down to the garage to say goodbye to him. And he like kissed me. And I forgot like that's part of our relationship. Because I never had a boyfriend before.
Right.
And I think that was only my second kiss. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I was so weird about it. I didn't even think my lips moved. It was so weird. But anyway, so I was very smitten with him. And I can't really remember when this was, maybe in the summer or I don't know, whatever. And then I remember he started like hanging out with these two girls that were totally not like me at all. They were very tomboy. And I remember feeling weird about it. But like, again, I'd never had a boyfriend before, so I didn't really know the expectations. And I was like, what? So then he started to be really distant. This was the day before Valentine's Day. He was at my house and I said to him, I was like, is there something wrong? And he looks at me and he's like, I like Carrie. And I was like, okay. And I said, so do you not want to go out with me anymore? And he's like, I'll never forget this. He said, and don't blow him up on social media. Like he was like 16. He said, Megan, I like you, but I would take a bullet for that girl. Talk about a freaking heartbreak.
At 17 years old.
Heart in pieces.
That? Oh my God.
In pieces. So yeah, that was, and then I had to deal with Valentine's Day. And I remember going into school and everyone coming up to me being like, oh my God, what did Juan get you? And I was like, we broke up last night. It was terrible. It was terrible. So yeah, I would categorize that as my first heartbreak. What about you?
Oh my God. So Megan, you know this, listeners. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I was definitely a late bloomer in love. All of my friends had their first kiss when they were in like middle school. My first kiss was when I was 16. I had boyfriends through college, but it wasn't anything to write home about. When I had my like what I say is my real first relationship, I was 22 years old. And I met this guy. He was younger than me. And he was interning at MTV when I was working there in casting and development. And my intern was friends with him. And he was so cute. Like, oh my God, his face he looked like a model. And he had like tattoos and he was artsy. He was interning for like the arts department there. So I was immediately attracted to him, and we started, having lunch together and hanging out, and he had an apartment in Brooklyn, and it was really cool. So, like, when I had work, I could stay there sometimes, and it was probably like a only 6-month relationship, but
which is a lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, well, at 22, it was a pretty big deal to me. I don't know if my parents listened to this, but I lost my virginity to him, so. It was such a devastating breakup because of that, but also because I found out that he was cheating on me on social media. And that was before dating apps. That was before, it was really when people weren't really using Twitter, weren't really using Instagram. Like I remember I had like the most heinous photos on my Instagram of like my dog, a window. So people weren't really, using it. And it was the first time I became like a real sleuth detective because I knew something was off and he was being super weird. And at that point, like he had met my parents, like he had met my family, he came over for the summer and we went to the beach a bunch of times. And then this was sort of around Thanksgiving, around the fall. And he was supposed to come to dessert for Thanksgiving. And he was kind of being weird the whole day. And I'm, gushing about him to all of my relatives that are there. I'm like, oh, he's going to come. It's going to be great. And then he decides not to come. Aww. And he calls me, and Thanksgiving is a week before my birthday. So I think I was also just like really upset. He's like, the we need to talk. Yeah. So we talk, and he's just like, I don't want to see you anymore. Like, I want to break up. And it was so abrupt, and I was just completely taken off guard that I was gutted. And I knew that there was a deeper reasoning beyond just like, I don't want to see you anymore. Your because really, how black and white are things with with kids that are like, young 20s? Of course. So he had a Twitter. So I go on his Twitter, and I see, you look at like tweets and replies, and you look and see like who he's tweeting at, and I see this girl. Mm-mm. So then I find her Twitter handle, and then I look on hers, and she has photos of them on Thanksgiving at the movie theater with like 3D glasses on. And it was just like, I was just angry. I was so angry. And he had my stuff at his apartment still. Scum. So my mom, of course, she's like, he's a bastard. Like, screw your stuff. You don't need it. And I'm like, no, I want my stuff back. Yes, like, queen. It's my stuff. Yes, girl. So one day when I was in the city working, I was like...
How much time had passed?
Oh, probably like 3 weeks.
And also, did you tell him that you knew he was seeing someone else?
Oh, totally. And he blocked me on all social media.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it.
So we finally meet up, and he's like... it was at Bryant Park in New York City. And it was around lunchtime, so there was a lot of people there. So there was just a very sad Jill crying at a table. And this kid gives me my bag of stuff back. And I'm like, I have nothing to say to you. It was so dramatic. Good. And he's like, you really want to end things like that? And I was like, I do. You can go fuck yourself.
Good for you.
And it was so crazy. But the thing was, I said that first heartbreak was a total blessing because it made me realize that I am worth so much more, and it pushed me to move out to California. I think that if he wouldn't have broken up with me, I still would have been anchored there. So really, I do believe that all things are meant to be, and that every heartbreak you have is for a reason. If you can't see it clearly now, you will one day. Mm-hmm. I sort of look back on that whole experience, and I'm like, it's like funny to me now. Yeah. I don't know if you feel the same way, but it's just like,
oh yeah. When I was telling you that quote, like I would die for her. I'm laughing through it because I'm just like, those are terrible words, but at the same time, you're like, oh, whatever. He would like, ugh, we're beyond it.
And like, so fast forward a couple of years, and I'm living in LA now, and all of a sudden my phone goes off, and meanwhile I've deleted his number, so I don't have anything. I deleted all photos with us. He is now blocked on all of my social media. Good. I start laughing, and my boyfriend, who I had been with at the time for about 3 years, was like, what are you laughing at? I was like, my ex, Steve? And he's like...
His name was Steve?
His name was Steve, yeah.
I hate Steve. All Steve. Sorry if you're listening and your name is Steve, but I will forever hate every Steve. Okay.
So he was like, what are you laughing at? I was like, yeah, my ex Steve just LinkedIn requested me.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, he wants to be my friend on LinkedIn because he sees how connected I am now. Well, guess what? He can go fuck himself again.
Yes, queen. I hate it. They always come back. Those little slimy bastards, they always try to sneak back in your life. And it's like, no. You had your chance. You didn't see it then. Bye.
No. I'm a big fan of clean breaks.
Yes.
So like ever since then, any relationship that I'd had moving forward, it was not drawn out. It was a clean break. Yes. You don't want to see me? Fine. You don't want me at this job? Cool. Like I sort of just, everything is a clean break for me now.
Yes. Damn. Well, I'm so glad. I knew some of that story, but I was a little bit more detailed that time. So thank you for sharing. But yeah, we want to hear your heartbreak stories. I know it's hard to relive, but you know what? We're here to support you. So tweet us. Let us know.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Boss Please Pod. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes. Navigate the path to your best self with us, because bossing together is always better.